साथ में
सबसे अच्छी चीज होगी।
This is what is required.
हाँ, सच में।
दीप जोत से जोत
जी। इधर से।
पानी तो बजा सकते हैं।
All of you come on this side, please. Mr. Thorir, come in. Come and ask him. Please. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोतं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आवाहुपुरुषाकारम् शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणं सहस्रशीर्षं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं हरि ओम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरिः I request all the students to take your seats, please.
Hello, Namaskar. The Bhagavad Gita says that yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, to the self. Yoga is neither matter of faith nor superstition. It is in fact a subject with well-defined grammar and a goal based on holism. And we are all gathered here to celebrate this ancient wisdom. Today the world has recognized the benefits of yoga by celebrating the International Yoga Day. It is our privilege to have amongst us Dr. Alka Pandey, who is one of the most renowned names for art and culture in India and abroad. She is responsible for curating several significant and perspective exhibitions in India and abroad, and giving a name to some of the most upcoming and influential artists. Dr. Alka Pandey is currently enrolled as the Consultant Arts Advisor and Curator of the Visual Arts Gallery at the India Habitat Center. May I now request Dr. Alka Pandey to address the gathering.
Namaskar. Shri Murli Manohar Joshi ji, Shrimati Dalla Joshi, Mera Pranam. The Ambassador of Iceland to India, Mr. Ibsen, Umatuli, and my dear friend Nivedita. A wonderful good evening to all of you. Today I'm here not really wanting to talk about yoga, because for that the best person to talk would be Nivedita, because yoga is a way of her life. I'm here today to just talk of two concepts of yoga which have stood me in great stead in my life. अगर निवेदिता का बस चलता तो वो मुझे रोज यहाँ बुला के पूरी क्लास में ही लेती. But I have been practicing yoga for a long time, और दो चीज मैंने उससे सीखी हैं. एक है एकाग्रचित्त और दूसरा है अभ्यास. These are the two guiding principles in my life. And योग की जो हम हर समय बात करते हैं आज के आधुनिक युग में, it is a great thing of wellness, and people are using Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and doing all kinds of acrobatics and spoiling their backs. But yoga really is about balance. It's about the balance and harmony of mind, body and spirit. And yoga is also a way of complete sadhana and one with the Brahman. For me, yoga as part of a person who has studied history of art, it was very much part of the manifestations and visual representations. Shiva has been shown as the Mahayogi and the Mahabodhi, and that is actually what symbolizes India, the plurality of India, the cultural diversity of India, the wonder that is India. And I think amongst all world religions, it is only Hinduism and Indic religion which has Ananda, Vilas, which leads to Paramananda. I don't want to go on saying a lot about the visual manifestations which you will see right from Indus Valley, the thought which is there in pre-Vedic India as well, the thoughts of yoga. It comes to even today, lots of young artists are representing the consciousness of yoga in their work. Nivedita gave me a lovely quote, which I would like to quote, Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. So if you kind of practice this particular sutra of yoga, it brings perfection in whatever you do. So as a person who in some ways has dedicated her life to arts, and artistic representation is also about perfection, and in all the Advaitis believe that the union of the Atma and the Paramatma is also through perfection. And yoga can also be one of the means. And that is the beauty of Indic religion, that you interpret and take whichever mark, जो भी मार्ग आपको पसंद है, अद्वैत का मार्ग, भक्ति का मार्ग, योग का मार्ग, अपने परमानंद के लिए आप अपना ही मार्ग चुन सकते हैं. So I would actually like to really salute my friend Nivedita, who from the time I have known her now for more than 25 years has dedicated her life not only for herself to make herself better, but she is bringing so much wellness, and all of you are her students, and I'm sure you know she's a really tough taskmaster, which is wonderful, but she is sharing something which is so deep, which goes into your very inner core of being. So if you kind of achieve for perfection, you yourself in some ways can all become yogis and yoginis. Once again, I want to really applaud and salute Nivedita and wish her all the very best of good health, that she continues with this great endeavor of hers and keeps spreading not only the message of yoga, but bringing in good health. For a healthy body talks of a healthy mind, and a healthy mind makes a healthy nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anga Pandey, for sharing your thoughts. Now I would like to welcome and introduce the chief guest of today's function, His Excellency Mr. Thorir Ibsen, Ambassador of Iceland to India, with accreditation to Bangladesh, Malaysia, Maldives, Mauritius, Nepal, Seychelles, South Africa and Sri Lanka. Mr. Ibsen has an illustrious diplomatic career, having served as the Ambassador to European Union, France and many other countries. He has been the chief negotiator for climate change. He has held a number of important assignments in different ministries of the government of Iceland. He has also taught political science and economics at the York University. We are also happy to have Mrs. Dominique Ambroise Ibsen, who is a renowned visual artist. May I now call upon His Excellency Mr. Ibsen to express his thoughts.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed, you worried that I might hit that button. It is indeed a pleasure and honor to be with you here tonight and to see this impressive facility that you have here. This building is very impressive, and I find this room very beautiful and very pleasant place to visit. Now, yoga is probably the single most important and influential contribution of India to world heritage and to humanity. Yoga has become a household name wherever you go. Even as far as north where I come from, that is pretty close to the Arctic Circle, people practice yoga and they come out on the International Yoga Day on the 21st of June, demonstrate and practice and show to others the merits of practicing yoga. It is not strange that yoga is attracting so much attention and interest. In a stressful world, increasingly more stressful world, competition, a lot of work, it offers not only relief, health relief, health relief, the physical relief. It also enhances concentration and allows people to approach the work and they're going about life in a more focused, more disciplined manner. Iyengar yoga I find intriguing. I'm not a yoga practitioner myself, I should say. My wife is. But Iyengar is something that is intriguing. We discovered that first through our niece in France. She sits in front of the computer. She had a back problem, and she had lots of difficulties in concentrating during her work, and she started to practice Iyengar yoga. She said to her aunt, when we moved to India, I know exactly the place for you to go when you come to Delhi to improve your life. You've all heard, I think you probably heard it like this. You don't? I'm back on. Most of you have heard the story about Yenu de Manuel and how much Iyengar Master helped him to recover his ability and physical ability to continue to play violin. And that's another example of the contribution to us all, because that was not only important for him to play, but for all of us of the generation that were brought up with the music of Yenu de Manuel. I myself listened to him a lot when I was a young music student. And I benefited from his World History of Music, which is a renowned book and a extremely important television series that he did about music in a different part of the world. He probably would not have been able to complete and do all that work without getting the help from Iyengar yoga. But bringing this closer to home, my wife, incidentally, she's been struggling with a backache for quite a long time. And it's not pleasant to have a partner that is having pain. And she had difficulty to work. Her artwork was suffering from this, and evidently leisure and daily life. She chose to heed the advice of her niece and come here and start training Iyengar yoga. And I can tell you, I bring a new wife with me back to Iceland when we leave this one. So thank you very much for that. But Nina Yosi, she hasn't stopped there. As you know, she has taken the practice to another level by developing a specific book for visually impaired people. I've seen that book, it's in Braille. She gave it to us, and we'll bring it with us to Iceland and give it to the visually impaired society in Iceland for them to be able to take up the practice. And quite a remarkable accomplishment to bring that out. And her training of the visually impaired people is quite unique. It's important, I believe, to make yoga more accessible to people, and that's another intriguing thing about Iyengar yoga that I didn't know until I discovered that through my wife, is the unique technique that is applied for people to come to yoga and do the difficult postures like you know, that are sitting there and doing the practice. That would be otherwise very difficult to do, so that is quite a unique method of teaching and a unique method of learning. We are moving up to the week of leading up to the International Yoga Day on the 21st of June, next week. And this is part of the celebration of that day. And indeed it's important that making yoga accessible to people and continue to do research. And I've been quite impressed by the work of the government of India in promoting yoga, in developing research, in building institutions about yoga, bringing it abroad, and indeed initiating the International Yoga Day on the 21st of June, which allows more people to have access to this unique form of discipline and physical practice. I would like to, doesn't like the time. I would like to thank the team of Yoga Schema to invite me here tonight and to give me the opportunity to see how you practice yoga. I've only seen it partially with my wife in the morning when I'm getting up. I have the opportunity to get a deeper insight here tonight, and I would like to wish you all, teachers and students, a pleasant and enjoyable International Yoga Day and the whole week leading up to Yoga Day on the 21st of June. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ibsen, for sharing your thoughts and your experiences. We are really grateful. Thank you so much. Yoga is not about touching your toes. It is what you learn on the way down. May I now request Mrs. Nivedita Joshi to present her lecture on evolution of science of yoga and its impact to modern society. Mrs. Nivedita Joshi.
Dear friends and all the people who are sitting inside this room, I'm really grateful that you are participating in this very interesting lecture presentation. For me, it's an honor to have Mr. Thorir Ibsen. Kumamasi has been a very strong pillar in the whole of my journey, starting from the pain till coming out of the pain. Alka, I met her when I was getting out of my health issue, and she was guiding me very interestingly towards my creative journey. So today is a very interesting evening for me because there are many pillars of strength sitting here who gave me really light and strength. My parents, without them, my sister who is comparing, I was thinking that today she's giving me the dice to talk. There was a day when she used to hold my paper and I used to read for my examination. So that was the journey which I have traveled, and I'm really grateful and thankful to all of them for standing and supporting me till date. I'm also very, very grateful and indebted to my guru. Physically he is not present in this planet, but wherever he is, I know his energies and his blessings are with us. And without him, I don't think I would have been able to stand here and talk so authentically with a lot of experience of my own and a lot of scientific experience of my own. So I bow down to his feet wherever he is. I know he is blessing me and all of you who is practicing. Now, I have chosen the subject evolution of science of yoga and its impact to the modern society. The only reason is that I'm a born scientist. I never thought I would take yoga as my career, and from the age of 4, from the time I remember myself, I loved science. When I met Mr. Iyengar, the thing which impressed me and made me to surrender was his scientific approach towards the subject. Philosophy of yoga touched me later in my practice, and when Guruji explained and I could feel it. But in the beginning, the thing which impressed me and made me to connect with this subject and devote my complete life was the scientific aspect of the subject. So my 4-year-old mind, till the time I did my master's and now, is again compelling me to showcase you the very beautiful scientific aspect of yoga. Having said that, yoga as a science attempts to harmonize the body, intellect and the soul. Yoga essentially teaches us to recognize the fundamental unity between the human being and the humankind. In the yogic concept of a holistic universe, science and spirituality appear to converge. The word yoga first occurred in the Rig Veda, that it was being practiced in India since the very dawn of civilization, and it is clear from the excavation of Indus Valley sites. Figures in various yoga postures have been found in these excavations. Today's program, I will try to showcase you the very beginning of few asanas, how they used to look, and how by refining, defining, and doing a kind of tapas by the sages, and then Yogacharya BKSM taking it to the highest order, how it gives you the relief and how it is so scientifically evolved now. It was Patanjali, 500 BC, who first provided the philosophy, the science, and the grammar of yoga. And he did it by writing 196 aphorism, which is known as Patanjali Yoga Sutra. In modern times, though, there have been several interpretations of this dictionary of yoga. To my mind, the best is the treatise written by Yogacharya B.K. Iyengar. After his personal experience of the system, Iyengar also devised a unique method of providing variations suitable for those who were unable to go through the rigors of postures prescribed for the normal healthy person. And I think this was the most inspiring thing which gave my confidence and life back when I met Mr. Iyengar. Anything which I had already accepted that I can't do it, he will not only make me to feel that you can do it, but he will make me to do it. And that was this kind of a scientific work. So this is something which actually attracted me towards him, and with a lot of pain I continued with him. His entire approach to yoga was to make the postures readily accessible even to the differently abled people. His system is known worldwide as Iyengar Yoga System. Yoga was taken to the West by several Indian gurus. Several centers were started where people practiced and realized the beneficial effect of yoga, mostly as a readily accessible health regime leading to physical fitness. Yoga not only improves physical fitness, but is something much more. It is beyond physical health. The human persona is not only a body, but it is also a mind, an intellect, and a soul. Yoga attempts to harmonize all of them. As a result, one possesses a healthy body, a sharp intellect, an unflickering or focused mind, which is capable of realizing the unity between I, generally known as personal consciousness, and I, the universal consciousness. I should tell you this, when I met Mr. Iyengar, I had lost my concentration completely. Suffering from 12 long years with the pain, I had no concentration left. And with the practice of yoga, as Guruji said to me after 6 months, just practice and your concentration will come back. It came back to me fully. So this is not I'm writing because somewhere I have read it or some book says it. This is my own personal experience. In fact, yoga means to join, and its ultimate goal is to experience the unity of the individual consciousness with the universal consciousness, and then to realize that both are not different. In this sense, yoga essentially teaches us to recognize the fundamental unity between the human being and the humankind, and also between us and the environment, and ultimately to recognize the total interconnectedness of everything within everything. The essence of this realization is to experience that all is one. It may be recognized that Vedas themselves do not mention specific yoga postures or asanas, and so these postures are not described by Patanjali in the Yoga Sutra, written after a gap of few millennia. The numerous postures prevalent today must have been the result of the innovations of sages who probably practiced and experimented with a view to redefining and redefining the yogic system. So what science of yoga I am going to present you today, it is not the original. It has been worked out by so much of practice, abhyasa, tapas of rishis, munis and our Guruji to bring it to this level. The present state of yogic system is the result of tapasya of ancient sages over the millennia. Dr. B.K. Iyengar was himself a shining example of this tapasya and explained, in my practice, I annotated my body and mind with knowledge, which soaked deep into the layers of the self, enabling me to be aware of my own presence and kindling an awareness in my tendons, fibers, muscles, joints, nerves and cells. Not being satisfied only with the theoretical knowledge of yoga, Dr. Iyengar went for practical experiences as well. Whenever I go to any yoga program, I am so tired of hearing the same lecture, trust me, and I don't see any scientific evolution there. But with Guruji, when I met him and I started working with him, the most powerful attraction for me as a scientist was he was a real scientist. Every second he was evolving and experimenting something which is for one and all. That was his genius. So not being satisfied only with the theoretical knowledge of yoga, Dr. Iyengar went for practical experiences as well. In his own words, he says, in my sadhana, my body, mind and intelligence, and awareness become a laboratory for experience. And from his laboratory, I am bringing today few things to showcase. Dr. Iyengar did not stop there. Even at the ripe age of 93 years, he continued on his quest for a deeper and fuller understanding of Patanjali Yoga. Well, I can go on giving you experience of mine with Guruji and the real experience of my life, but before that I would like to showcase few asanas and their evolutionary hierarchical system, how they have evolved and what is the science behind it. Trust me, it is very, very difficult for any real scholar of yoga to give you a scientific explanation in such a short period of time. When I sat with all his books and his work, for me it was like bringing his motion in a cup. And it was really difficult. So I have chosen few of the asanas, keeping that in my mind that showcases of one of the geniuses of Guruji. And I will tell you the stories behind the props which he invented. I'll tell you the stories how he invented and he got that idea and which made him really a very special yogi. So let's begin with the first posture, and which is known as Trikonasana. Those who are practicing, they know that what is Trikonasana and how they have been practicing Trikonasana. So first let's see the first original Trikonasana, which you can see in old textures like Hatha Yoga Pradipika and those texts which have. So you can see where this is modern science. You can see when she is practicing Trikonasana, observe the angle at which she is standing, observe how she is, closing the organic body area. Okay, observe when she is standing and her organic body, where it is compressed inside the abdominal area, is completely compressed. There is no angle which is giving her relief. If you can see right now, it's difficult. The spine is completely contorted, and this was the beginning of Trikonasana. Now let's see how Trikonasana evolved and how Guruji gave so many. How Guruji gave so many evolutionary jumps to the same pose, where the person who was crippled, who was aged, who couldn't do because of the injury in the back, could do the same pose with so many improvisations. Now, the first student of mine, Bhavna, is doing the classic pose. You can see the angle of that pose has changed, and by changing the angle, she has opened her abdominal area terrifically. Now, when she does with the alignment where his back, the head is aligned with her tailbone, the spine gets the extension which is towards the mother earth. So that gives her a lot of relaxation to the spine, and the extension gives a release from the nervine pinch. Now the second student, which is doing the posture, the same posture but diagonal angle. So Guruji just changed the angle. Can you change that? Now when you see Surmi doing Trikonasana, the angle of the pose Guruji changed to figure out if the person, like she was doing, was unable to open the pelvic girdle, how she can bring the same effect without damaging her spine. So the angle was changed. Now if you see in the back, if the person is very weak, then he or she can take a support. We are using right now this Tressler, and the invention of the Tressler is phenomenal. Guruji was teaching some horse riders, And when he was teaching, the person had a backache. He wanted to give him support, and he saw a structure where they were tying the horses. He went there and he said, use this. And from there, he tried and defined and redefined and brought this structure which we know as horse or wrestler. Now, after seeing Ruby now is standing in the front, you see one student is sandwiched between the two wrestlers. I remember this day. I was going from Delhi to Pune and I'm walking to the Guruji's room where he's practicing, and I'm seeing Guruji sandwiched between the two wrestlers, and Guruji was in his 80s. So I quietly sat down, and he continued his practice and came up and said, what are you looking at? I said, sir, what is this? He said, well, I'm 80 and I'm sure I'm going to live till 90. So I'm preparing myself for my 90. So this is how I'm developing the support, where no part of my spine is deviated, and I'm holding the pose, because holding of the pose is very important. And I have no strength, so this will give me strength. So this is my preparation for 90. So you can see this evolution. And then comes this pose. This was the pose where I was helping him in the medical class as an assistant. I saw he was giving to a lady who had many surgery. This is lying down Trikonasana. So you can see the evolution from the beginning till where he took, and you can inhale and come on. And I can continue showing you. This is only 5 styles, at least 19 or 20 styles which he taught me. So this is one of the most interesting thing which I found with it. Now, for the same way, I would like to present another very interesting. So you can see the invention of prop. Then you can see the invention in the improvisation of the, posture, and then how you can hold the pose. The second pose, which they are showing, is very, very important and essential pose called Shirshasana, or the headstand. Now, headstand is the father of the asanas. Now, I remember when I started practicing headstand, I used to pray to God every time that please take me away. It was that difficult for me and painful, but he insisted, and he taught me enormous number of improvisation. You can see one of the students went to the rope. Guruji saw in the scriptures that the sages are hanging from the banyan roots, and then he got this idea and he developed this. Now, one of the idea was this, and the other was some people are scared of doing that. So he invented that if there is a wall and they have support, they can have a better confidence and they can do the same. You can see when Rakesh is hanging in the rope, he is not pressurizing his neck or shoulder anywhere, so he doesn't have any fear to injure his neck. The other person is the same. She is already getting too much of a support, so she has no fear of falling, because inversions are, for some people, very scary thing. For me, it was very scary. And now you see there is one student, Rubina, who is going straight, a classical way, and then you are watching Sandeep, who is doing Sandeep tilt at least 5 degrees forward. Yes. Now, if you see the old texts, I've seen that, you will see Shirshasana on the head, but not on the head, but forehead. If you go and pick up the old books of Dhirendra Brahmachari, who was a great yogi and he was a guru of Indira Gandhi, she used to teach and practice on the forehead. Sandeep is doing that. When you do with the forehead, you can see the neck gets squeezed, and this is dangerous. So Guruji saw that and he said, Shirsh means crown of the head. So how can you do the pose from the forehead when Shirsh means crown of the head? So that was his genius to continue correcting the pose. Now when he saw that the neck is compressed, he all the more first found out the center of the crown of the head that Rubina is doing. See, there is no neck pressure, and then he continued evolving it. Another thing is that when you do wrong Shirshasana and you are tilting forward, you can see the buttock bones are jutting out, the lumbar has gone in. To protect all these things, for the person who is weak and can't even imagine, like I was, he invented all these things. But the most interesting one, he told me this, that he was teaching in NDA, the National Defense Academy in Pune. And there he was giving a lecture and, giving the enthusiastic lecture to mobilize the cadets to work through yoga. One of the person came to Guruji with a big shawl on his body and said, "Sir, I want to learn Shirshasana from you." So Guruji said, "Why not? Remove your shawl and I'll teach you." So he did this and he removed the shawl. And guess what? He had no arms. He had lost in the battlefield. So Guruji says, Nivedita, I had to invent then and there to give him the courage that you can also. And then he used the 2 chairs and used his shoulders to make him to do Shirshasana to get the same benefit without any fear and with the confidence that you can still do it. So, by just saying it, that yoga gives you this and this and this, we have heard it many times. But this is what he did. So this was the genius and the evolution of Shirshasana. Now here doesn't end the story. When you come down from Shirshasana, what are you supposed to do? Why are you supposed to do? So when you go down on your head, your blood circulation goes gushing on your head and it replenishes your brain cells. But when you get down, you have to really satisfy that blood circulation and make it to the passive. Otherwise, you can get vertigo. All these minutest details, Mr. Iyengar had gone into the research and got it for us. So when they come down, you will see when Rumina comes down, they don't just get up and go away. There is a following asana which is known as Adho Mukh Virasana. They put their forehead on the Mother Earth, forehead, not the crown of the head, to stabilize, to quieten the mind, and then you proceed for the next. So it was not only the technique, it was beyond that. What is the condition of the circulatory system? What is the condition of the skeletal system? What is the condition of your muscular system? So he observed everything. Now, once you have kept yourself for a few minutes or a few seconds in this, your blood circulation becomes normal and you don't feel giddy. If you see the girl who is hanging against the wall, it is precisely for lumbosacrum traction. So if you have a lumbosacrum pain, we give you this Shirshasana because it separates the lumbar and sacrum to release that. There, what Rakesh was doing, it was sacroiliac. So he was that precise that if you have a sacrum problem, this is the Shirshasana. If you have a lumbar problem, this is the Shirshasana. So when I call my patients separately to talk to them, the reason is this: the Iyengar system is so precise that you can't go wrong. Only thing is you have to be honest to tell your teacher, and your teacher should know how to handle your case. Now you all both can come down. Now wait a second. Now people have this dilemma that if I have a blood pressure, can I do Shirshasana? Of course you can do Shirshasana, and you have to support your head so that the blood doesn't go gushing down to your head. So what we do is we put the person on the chair, and then can you see we have supported his crown of the head. So the blood doesn't go like this, it goes percolating. So see the minutest detail which he has studied on his own body, as he said that my body is my laboratory, and brought out such beautiful innovations and improvisation for the humankind. You can also come down. You all can come up. And now we would like to showcase another posture, which is little advanced, and this was another posture. Whenever he came, he never forgot that to make me to do. And whenever he came to me to do this pose, I always said, oh my God, please take me away. 3 or 4 people used to lift me up because he wanted me to use my body to work directly. But at the same time, when I was unable to do, when I was tired, he was giving me improvisation after improvisation to make me feel that your body can perform, and slowly, gradually, you will be in a classical form. So, don't go on the between the bench. See this bench, which is arch, giving you an arch kind of structure. This is known as Viparita Dandasana bench. Guruji went with his daughter to get a photograph done for her wedding. He goes to the studio. Those days you have to go to the studio. He says, I saw a drum where he made my daughter to sit so that the look is very good. And the moment photo shoot was over, Guruji said, you get up. And he lied down on that drum. You can see the drum. And from there, he went on experimenting. Just remove the sticky mat, little bit. When you see these slats, I can't show you everything, but trust me, each and every slat is usable. And each and every slat has a different approach and different effect in your health issues and your problem. And that's how from drum to Viparit Dandasana, bench was invented. We will show you the classic pose, which is difficult, and for the body was his body was like mine, it was completely broken, pain. To do it on my own from the first day was really difficult. So what Akshama is showing is a classic pose. Now I can do the classic and the advanced classic, all thanks to my guru. But to do this pose by a broken body or a weak body or an old body or a lady or a man who had gone for the surgery, you can't imagine. So you have seen this classical pose, how beautifully Akshama is doing. Akshama, thank you so much. But now you see the same thing with so many improvisation. Edita is performing over the roll. Now see, only looking at the roll was not the end of his work. Guruji made this subject from swar to sar, from himself to the others. Look how much he must have thought. The height, the drum should not slip, and the correct curvature. And interestingly, this drum is apt for anyone and everyone. It's like a scientific, very good principle. This was his genius. Now, she is doing with Viparit Dandasana bench. I am showing you many things in one posture because if somebody has a blood pressure or neck problem, we support. If you don't have it, you got little more strength. So I started from this and I was unable to lie myself down like this. It was painful. Then this, and then you go to the chair because chair is something which every household has had. And Guruji made my spine to mobilize by curving it backwards slowly and steadily like this. And one day I asked him, because I was very scared of these postures to begin with. They used to make me feel ashamed because 4 people were lifting me up and it was tough. I said, why you have made me to do so much? When I became a little close to him, he said, the back arches bring the juice in your spine. When he said juice means the life force of the spine. When you have a backache, your spine loses the life force. And I used to use this word in my own way as to tell my father, I feel very dry in my spine. But I had no idea what does that mean because the life force was finishing. So back arches actually opens your spine. Now, I'm not talking about the backache. Observe the chest. The chest, what Akshama got, if you do classical poses, Guruji used to say these are the postures are non-invasive open heart surgery. Because they open the heart cavity from back to the front and the blood goes like this, like a fountain. It opens all the arteries and all the veins like, if you have a pipe which has a lot of dirt inside sticking to that and you turn the pipe 2-3 times back and forth, the dirt comes out. It is the same for your arteries and veins. So it is not only the back, it is many things which can be sorted out with this, your lung problem, those who have the allergies and they can't breathe. This is amazingly helpful for those with a weaker body and they can't hold. Holding of the posture, Guruji found out, is very important. And in this postures, you can lie down for minutes together and you feel very nice and open. You can come down. So this is another thing which from drum to Viparit Dandasana bench to use the chair and get the same effect. He made the whole thing very user-friendly rather than getting scared and thinking, I can't do it. So when people say, oh, I can't do Iyengar yoga because it's tough, I laugh. If it was tough, I couldn't have done. The tough part in yoga, it's not Iyengar yoga, it's the discipline. Why the students call me a strict teacher? Because they are not used to having discipline. But yoga starts with discipline, Atha, Yoga, Anushasanam. Now, this has no difficulty. Any kind of body can do it and get a beautiful result. Now, I'm going to show you again a very interesting and powerful pose, which Guruji made me to do every day. And this pose, the classical pose, has been done inside the MRI machine to see whether what he's saying is correct or not. So actually, this pose brings the disc back to its position. If there is a slip disc, but the disc should not be broken. If it is dilapidated, degenerated, nothing can be done. But if it is not, it can be bring back to its position. This pose is Bharadwaj Asana, which is dedicated to Sage Bharadwaj. This is classical. I am showing you the back side of the pose and the front side of the pose, and this is classical. These two are good practitioners, so they can hold their hands and everything is very fine. But person like me, who can't sit down on the floor, when I met him, he found out all these improvisation. Now the question is, why 3 improvisation? The improvisation which Surabhi is doing on my right side is the Bharadwaj Asana, which is working on the skeletal system. All the joints are worked out. The moment you change the angle, it is working only on the organic body. The skeletal system is less worked out. And what Rakesh is doing, which is inside the chair, is a global Bharadwaj Asana where everything is covered. So he made it so precise. By doing this, not only the disc which comes back, but the organic body like your liver, pancreas, which has no exercise in any other form, they get squeezed and deoxygenated blood comes out of it, and oxygenated blood goes into your body. It's very good for the diabetic people, very good for the people who are having colitis and liver sluggish, can't digest, have a lot of gastric trouble. So apart from the spinal effect. So this is a Bharadwaj Asana, and you can see it's very easy because you can get chair anywhere, everywhere, and you can choose any of the improvisation and get your maximum benefit. And I was an ardent admirer of this pose. It's very easy and very, very good because you release your pain immediately. You can do the same thing on the other side. You can release it. So this was Bharadwaj Asana, and as you can see, there are many things they are using. I can go on explaining how Guruji developed the brick and how he made sure that by sandwiching the brick, you are stabilizing your pelvis. I mean, it's an intricate detailed science which I can go on explaining you because that really attracted me, that how beautifully one single man is doing this. Now this is one of my favorite poses to showcase, because when I met Mr. Iyengar, my forward bend started like this. My physiotherapist is asking not to bend back, not to move forward. And Guruji did everything what he said no. So you can see Sanjay is standing in front of the stool. Wait, Sanjay. And we have given Sanjay little foams just because we have to correct the height. There is a rolled blanket which is below his lower abdomen. And he moves forward. Where is it? I think it's bent. So when my physiotherapist used to say, don't move forward, I had implicit faith on Guruji. I didn't know these things. What is happening, why it is happening. But I had implicit faith and I continued. And now when I know everything, I'm showcasing it to you, and none should feel that forward bends are bad. You should know how to do it. So I am measuring Sanjay's spine. So from the C1, I am measuring Sanjay's spine. From the C1 till the tailbone, I am measuring Sanjay's spine. So we have made this marking. This is the length of the Sanjay's spine. And then he moves forward and goes to the pose by supporting his lower abdomen. And we measure the spine from C1 to the tailbone. Can you see the increase in the length of the spine? So when you move forward with the support, with the science behind it, you get this length. When you are getting more length in the spine, you cannot go wrong, you cannot get pain. In fact, it gives you relief. But when you go forward without any understanding, and instead of having this length, you get this length, then you get the pain. So one has to understand, I would wish and pray that very soon the therapists should open their mind and do a long and deep study with a good yoga practitioner and negate these very old ideas, because science is evolving. If 20 years ago physiotherapist said something and they are saying the same thing, then that's not a science. So we have to say that this was Guruji's intention, and I was supposed to do this every day till the time he said. And it gave me a huge amount of relief. You can see the area which is dead. You can ask anyone who can try it. It is so soothing that you have no pain. So this is one, and then you see the classical pose which Surabhi is doing. Now classical pose is quite tough. If your spine is not prepared, you can really get into trouble.
Now the second stage was in the class for us was with a rope. It was again researched and re-researched and found out, established fact, that when you do Uttanasana in a concave back, where your dorsal is concave, dorsal is this area, you are bringing the disc which are prolapsed back to its position. This is again the same, it relieves. This, no. This is, she's doing very well, but she's healthy. So, see, and I mean, there are many Uttanasana. I'm just choosing 2, 3 because it's a direct, you can see the difference. So, these are the inventions which not only made my life easy, but as a scientist, I could see that what an evolution. Amount of work he's doing, understanding. He used to practice and will go in Uttanasana for 20 minutes. And you can see that he was dwelling inside his body, mind and soul and creating something very interesting, bringing it out for everyone, and it worked. So this is another question. Thank you. You can come up. Okay. Come up, Sanjay. Now this is what was very, very interesting, that I've shown you the back pain, I've shown you the forward pain. Every doctor, orthopedic told me not to move forward and backward, and Guruji said one sentence, my God has made spine to move forward and backward and sidewise. Why doctor should stop you? They should learn how to move. Which was very logical. And as a young person, I felt, wow, this is very nice. Whosoever said no, he said yes. So that feeling that you can do it was extraordinary, and as a science, I could see that it's evolving. Now, this was very interesting course for me. For 8 long years, I couldn't do it. Because any portion of the neck you will place, it will pain. And believe me, relentlessly, he kept on experimenting on my body and my mind in which way I can get relief. And eventually he made me to do that. In that process, that was a very painful process, but in that process, I know 19 improvisation of top class of this line. He will see that my body is not responding well enough. Now, Rakesh is going to do Sarvangasana, which is not the classic in a way, because in classic Sarvangasana or many school of thought, you don't use all these things. You go straight on your back and you go to Sarvangasana, which kills your neck. Here, Guruji developed 6 blankets with his own experiments. It is good enough to release the neck pressure, and it's not bad for your neck at all. Just face this side. Now, interlock your fingers. When you interlock your fingers or you take your hands back, you all feel very relieved in your stiff shoulder, in your stiff neck. And the reason is the trapezoid muscle, which is starting from the base of the neck and going down to the tailbone, goes to the normal direction. The normal direction of trapezoid is from neck to the tailbone. Release. You will see what Rakesh is doing, the way he lifts his body. In Sarvangasana, you lift your trapezoid from trapezoid towards the tailbone. It is a wrong idea that Sarvangasana kills your neck. How you do it, that makes the whole difference. So Rakesh goes on his shoulders. You see, he also gave us the complete guidelines that how much the shoulder should be inside from the front edge of the blanket. It is precisely taught to us. He is right now organizing his shoulder joint, rotating it, making it free. And then Guruji developed this belt loop, which is of his shoulder width, to give him extra support to lift his body up and to lift his trapezoid up towards the heel. And that releases your neck pain. So Sarvangasana, if you do wrongly, is bad. But when you do it correctly, Sarvangasana is mother of the asana. It works on all your glands, the ductless gland, the all hormonal system is controlled by Sarvangasana. Extremely good because it works on your pituitary pineal gland, it works on your thyroid, parathyroid. You can see they are all in Jalandhar Bandh. A Jalandhar Bandh is chill off. So your thyroid is here. You are squeezing the thyroid. When it comes up, the blood gushes, it goes into the thyroid. And the dead or supine thyroid slowly starts stimulating and coming back to, if this is not bad, back to normal or better than before. Now, in Sarvangasana, the most important thing is the lift of the spine and the lift of the side trunk. Because otherwise the load of the whole body goes to SA node of the heart, which is sino-auricular node, where all the nerve impulse from the brain comes and gives the signal to the heart. So if you pressurize that node because of the wrong posture, you are heading for the heart problem. Looking at the people's practice, the Guruji said to himself, let me give something new so that they don't have the injury. So then he invented this, one of the inventions. There are many kinds of Sarvangasana. I mean, I can go, you name the place here and I can show you Sarvangasana on that. And he used 2 chairs to go for Sarvangasana and then continuation Halasana. He will show you. Now, the chair Sarvangasana is something which, take your leg back, correct. Now, chair Sarvangasana is something in which everyone can stay in the pose. In Shirshasana, Sarvangasana, you have to stay for 5-10 minutes. And you will be surprised, both the parents are 80 plus and they are both practicing every day. And when they practice, they and me, we both say, well, thank you, Guruji. It was impossible to think that with the age, with health issues, you can do this. So this was another amazing scientific evolution and the work of Mr. Iyengar, where you are not having any neck pressure, you don't feel scared, you can stay in the pose with no fear of falling and no fear of getting injured. From here, when you go for Halasana, which is the continuation, you can see going down like the way Rakesh went is not easy. You need a healthy body or a very good practiced body. But when you use the chair and you use the height, you can very well go to the similar posture, get the same effect, but with a height and a lot of support, with a lot of confidence. Now, in Shirshasana, Sarvangasana, you have to stay minimum or Halasana 5 minutes. So if the person is weak and can't sustain, that means he or she cannot do it. And I had seen till the end, Guruji had one, what you call pill, or in Hindi what you call zid, that why everyone cannot do it. And that why everyone cannot do it gave him this phenomenal courage and strength to go on experimenting and bringing out the marvels of yoga. So this is Halasana, what they are showing, and you can come out of the pose. Now, Rakesh, you can see there for a minute. Now, see in Halasana, the classic Halasana, if you can see, the back of the skull is coming towards the forehead. The Rakesh's back of the skull is coming towards the forehead. His chin is towards the chest, and the ears also are rotating towards the forehead. Now, this is the embryonic stage of the human being. So, Halasana gives you that state of mind which is peaceful, tranquil, cutting off the senses of perception, because the circular action of the brain is exactly like that. In that, the inside the ear, the tube also turns in the same fashion, and no other posture gives you that tranquil state of mind. So this is amazing, scientific work of Mr. Iyengar to bring the Halasana so easy form. I remember when Kargil happened, Guruji was called by the chief of the army saying, give us some sequence of methodology where our soldiers were standing for days together and they had very little time to sleep, and the bombings are happening, so their mind is completely shattered. And Guruji developed a Halasana in the smallest area, and then he said, you just use whatever you have there, your bag, your haversack, to roll yourself, to give them that state of mind, maybe for 5 minutes, but at least they have rejuvenation. So see his the will and the desire to get into the crux of the problem and then bring some new solution was amazing. You can go on, thank you. I think that was his zeal which made me, to give me the confidence to work on the visually impaired students. It was not easy, but I thought that Guruji had shown me so much and given me so much, I think I had that much of courage to try at least out, and it worked like magic. And it's again because of the structured science. You can see we are now going to show you, which is again, me and my colleague always say that. If you read any scripture on the planet Earth about pranayama, I can assure you the work what Mr. Iyengar has done, nobody has done, and I'm sure nobody can do. The intricacies of prana, that means the life force you're breathing, and how to get that action in the normal ordinary body is not a joke. And the story goes like this: when Guruji wrote Light on Pranayam, which is like a Bible in Pranayam, he took that book to his Guru T. Krishnamacharya, who was those days 98, and he said, Guruji, I want you to write the preface. He kept the book, he read the full thing, and he said, I will not. And Guruji said, why? He said, because you are giving something very difficult to the hands of the people who have never practiced. So Guruji said, sir, I personally feel I have done a lot of practice to see when the people are unable to do what they can do. And Guruji says to me, in a way, I thought in my mind, if Guruji is saying no, still I will continue because this is something I am sure. And then his Guru said, but what do I do? You have done, I think, one of the best for us. And eventually, after a few days, he wrote the preface for him and returned his book back. Now, the classic pranayam is always in sitting position. You can check out Giram Samhita, you can check out Hatyo Pradipika, everywhere it is sitting position. Now, sitting in Padmasana gives you the most stable structure of the spine and the most stable structure of the mind. But people can't sit there. So Guruji developed the chair and made the people to sit in Jalandharban or any other form on the chair. But there were people like me. When I went Mr. Iyengar, I couldn't sit more than 5 minutes. My spine used to collapse and I needed a place to lie down. And for people like us who are unable to do that, or aged people, he developed lying down pranayama. And in this posture, can you see they are having automatic opening of the chest. Here he gave a bolster which opens up your chest without any effort. So a person like me who couldn't have imagined doing pranayama so early in my practice was able to do that. So in the field of yoga, especially in pranayama, Guruji has done marvelous experiments and improvisations which nobody has even thought about it. And the constellation of breath, the way he studied was phenomenal. He was taken to America to check what is his lung capacity. He was, I think, 64. Guruji started his journey with an acute kind of tuberculosis. But at 64 or 70, American doctors used technology to see his lung capacity was 9-year-old young man. And because of his very good and correct practice. So this was the end in the way that, this is the way I could see and I could present the shortest way the subject called yoga and the scientific aspect of that you all can come up. And now you see when Sanjay comes up, he is supposed to turn to the right and come up. Now this is the kind of position which really mesmerized me. He always used to say, never come up like this, and always come up turning on the right side. And the simple two reasons were that don't jerk your spine. And two, the heart is on your left side. So always take a turn to the right so the heart doesn't get disturbed after a good dynamic rejuvenation. So this is the kind of, Guruji's intricate work. It's not only that he did and he then slept. He continuously kept on going on and on to develop the subject. And I would like to say that if you have a very good health, I'm not talking about the physical health, the mental health, and there is a sync between the mental health and the physical health and the psychosomatic health, physiological health, psychological health, then you can create, which is unbelievable because we all have a power of creation and it is tremendous. You can't even imagine what power you all have. All we need is a very strict discipline to continue like this and see the effect, feel that and enjoy your good health without taking too much of medicines and going to the doctors and getting surgery done very fast. I will end up my this little small presentation by giving you a small little interesting part. In the later half of the 20th century, J.S. Bell, a leading physicist at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, while explaining the paradoxical result of the famous thought experiment, had proposed that what is known as Bell's theorem. He says, at a deep and fundamental level, the separate parts of the universe are connected in an intimate and immediate way, thus reiterating the yogic concept of holistic universe, where science and spirituality appear to be converging. This convergence can lead to a better understanding of human relationships A synthesis of science, spirituality will create a peaceful, egalitarian, inclusive, non-violent, peaceful world. So, this is the latest, not too old scientists, but our rishis and munis had already anticipated. That's why the whole concept of yoga came into the picture. That Brahma knew that the coming generation are going to suffer because they are going to participate in too much of luxuries and bhogas. Having said that, I really, really request all of my students and those who are interested to participate in yogic journey, please practice. That's the key to all this success. If you want to feel the difference, if you want to feel the change in your health, you need to practice. With these words, thank you very much for giving me such a patient hearing, and I would like to call all my students to come at the center. Their participation and support. I'm nowhere. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Joshi, for this such a beautiful and interesting lecture on evolution of science of yoga. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and yoga's journey with us. Now, I would request Mrs. Uma Puri to propose the vote of thanks.
On behalf of Yogaashma family, it's my proud privilege indeed to convey our heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency and Madam Ibsen, who have really spent this time with us to make this function an exceptional one. I'm sure, sir, with your motivating address, people are charged to expand the activities, and so will our family expand. And this expansion is no problem because we don't believe in family planning here. Dr. Alka Pandey, thank you very much for your informative talk. Coming to Nivedita, the leading light, who has been struggling to eradicate darkness from several lives, I really do not know what to say. Whole world will be thanking you from each corner of each state and country, the way you have struggled to make a difference in the lives of so many people. Writing a book in Braille for the visually impaired is something which is not only speaking of your sensitivity to the cause, but it also shows your belief that disability is not inability. We all feel that this dream of providing equal opportunities and full participation to persons with disability will soon come true, because the way you are struggling for it, it is bound to come soon. We can see ray of hope, we can see a few things trickling down, we can see how inclusion is taking place in educational institutions. We are very positive of seeing this inclusion in yoga centers also, and it will be definitely pathbreaker Nivedita Joshi who will bring it in letter and spirit. All what you have achieved today, I fully agree, would not have been possible, I think all of you will agree, without the support of your parents, Dr. Joshi and Mrs. Tarla Joshi, your sister, your brother-in-law, Priyamda, Anand, and of course, the man behind your success, Mr. Sanjay Joshi.
The mantra of success of Nivedita is conversions of resources. The way she collects her team, you can see how team, T-E-A-M, total effort of all the members, T-E-A-M. And the way the team works, it's really amazing. And the way she has struggled in her life, her story has been a story of hurricane and a lamp. And who has been winning all through? The lamp, despite the hurricane. Her indomitable spirit has proved that determination is what makes you win. If she decides to do something, she does it, and does it so well. Look at the performances. Today's performances were incredible. And who is after this? No one else but Nivedita. This also shows that she must have been a very good disciple of Guruji. And now she is a unique Guru herself. I don't think we can find another Nivedita with such concepts of teaching yoga, the scientific approaches, and really letting people understand how important it is to do it in everyday life. I don't think I can thank everybody adequately enough, because this is the most difficult job, but I am reminded of a very small incident when Lord Surya wanted to go on leave for a day, and he said to Moon, "Can you come and take over for a day?" Moon said, "I cannot have that kind of life that you have." So he said, "Maybe North Star will do it." He also denied. And you know who came forward? The little star. And the little star said, "I will do it with the help of all the other stars in the sky. You go only." And this is what she does. Jyot se jyot jala. The way she brings in everybody to do a job is incredible, and I think she needs a big applause for her efforts. Thank you very much. I can go on and on, but I think here we have to end with a very, very sincere vote of thanks to each one of you who have taken time off to be here for this function. And now we would like you to please stay on for a cup of tea. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's okay.